Get ready for chills and chaos. In this video, we're diving into the most terrifying upcoming horror survival games of 2025 and 2026, spine-tingling worlds, brutal gameplay, and fear like never before. Let's begin. Emily! Bleak Haven is an intense first-person survival horror game releasing in 2025, blending classic scares with modern cinematic storytelling. You play as Tyler, who follows a mysterious phone location to a fog-covered, isolated island in search of his missing brother. What starts as a rescue mission quickly turns into a nightmare as you explore abandoned villages, crypts, a shag, and the underground chambers filled with cults and grotesque abominations. The gameplay focuses heavily on survival with limited resources. You'll craft weapons, solve puzzles, and engage in brutal, fast-paced combat where every shot and melee strike matters. The atmosphere is thick with tension, blending psychological horror with visceral encounters that keep you on edge. If you're a fan of games like Resident Evil or The Ritual, Bleak Haven offers that eerie, oppressive feel with a story-driven approach and plenty of surprises. It's a brutal, gripping experience where survival depends on your choices and skill. Get ready to dive into this harrowing world when it launches later this year on Steam. Bleak Haven promises to be a standout for horror fans craving a scary, cinematic survival challenge.
He's all I've got.
After Lights Out isn't just another horror survival game. It's a nerve-shredding dive into pure psychological terror. Set in a crumbling, isolated research facility, the entire game revolves around one brutal rule: the lights never stay on for long. Every flicker feels like a countdown to whatever's waiting in the dark. The atmosphere is suffocating, hallways stretch endlessly, shadows seem alive, and the audio design is so sharp you'll swear something's breathing right behind you. There's no easy pattern to the threats. Sometimes it's a physical creature hunting you. Other times it's your own mind playing tricks. And that unpredictability is exactly what makes After Lights Out so gripping. What impresses me most is how it messes with the player's sense of safety. Even your light source feels unreliable, forcing you to decide. Do you risk moving ahead in darkness, or stay still and hope nothing finds you? It's not just survival, it's endurance against fear itself. If they deliver on the promise of dynamic AI enemies and branching storylines, this could easily be one of the most talked about horror experiences of 2025. Honestly, I can't wait to see gamers try it and realize sometimes the scariest thing is when the lights finally go out. Ever wondered what happens when World War II meets the undead? ProjectZ, Beyond Order takes the horror survival genre to terrifying new depths. Set on a mysterious Nazi island, this upcoming game throws you into intense missions where twisted experiments have resurrected the dead. You'll craft weapons, explore eerie environments, and face horrifying zombies born from war's darkest secrets. The atmosphere? Pure dread, tight corridors, haunting sounds, and enemies that test your survival instincts every second. Whether solo or in co-op, ProjectZ, Beyond Order is shaping up to be one of 2025's most chilling experiences. Stay sharp, gather resources, and remember, in this fight, the dead don't stay down for long.
PlayStation.
Imagine stepping into a world where pain and pleasure blur into madness. Clive Barker's Hellraiser revival isn't just another horror game, It's a descent into the twisted mythos of the Cenobites. Set for release in 2026, this game reimagines Barker's haunting universe with next-gen visuals, atmospheric sound design, and gameplay rooted in psychological terror. You play as a soul trapped in a labyrinth of shifting corridors, each puzzle bringing you closer to unlocking or cursing yourself with the infamous lament configuration. Every encounter is drenched in dread, from whispers in the dark to the chilling appearance of Pinhead himself. It's not about jump scares, it's about slow, inevitable fear creeping under your skin. In Hellraiser Revival, choices matter. Do you face the Cenobites head-on, barter for your freedom, or succumb to their promises? The moral rot at the game's core will make you question what you're willing to risk for ultimate power or escape. If the trailers are anything to go by, this could be one of the most immersive horror survival experiences in years, a faithful yet fresh take on a universe that's been terrifying us since the ADS. And honestly, if you think you're ready to open the box, be careful. You might not like what answers.
Here, the sun never rises.
Cult of Blood is an upcoming survival horror game that really caught my attention. You play as a police officer investigating a remote village ruled by a sinister blood cult. What's fascinating is that the game draws inspiration from a true story, adding a chilling realism to its dark fantasy setting. The gameplay feels like a love letter to classic Resident Evil fans with its fixed camera angles and tank controls, but it also brings in modern mechanics like dodging and aiming. Combat is intense and unforgiving, with scarce ammo making every shot count. What really stands out is the atmosphere, foggy streets, creepy catacombs, and an eerie sense of dread that seeps into every corner. Plus, you scavenge and upgrade gear using blood souls, which makes survival strategic and tense. If you're into retro-inspired horror with a fresh twist, this one's definitely worth watching for. You know those games that blur the line between reality and nightmare? The Twilight Project looks like one of them. Set in a decaying research facility swallowed by darkness, this game traps you in a world where light itself is your only defense. You're not just fighting monsters, you're fighting the shadows that shape them. What really stands out is the atmosphere. Every flicker of your flashlight feels meaningful. The devs have teased advanced AI behavior too. Enemies learn from your actions, forcing you to improvise instead of relying on routine. It's got that mix of psychological tension and survival dread that we haven't seen in a while. Think Alan Wake meets Outlast, but darker and smarter. If they pull this off, the Twilight Project could easily become one of 2025's must-play horror experiences, not just for jump scares, but for how it messes with your mind long after you turn it off. Let's talk about Routine, one of the most anticipated horror survival games releasing in late 2025. Developed by Lunar Software and published by Raw Fury, Routine takes you to a chilling abandoned lunar base with a distinct ADS sci-fi horror vibe. You play in first person as an unnamed protagonist, investigating a mysterious incident that caused the base to fall into decline. Unlike typical survival games, Routine focuses on stealth and avoidance rather than direct combat. You use the Cosmonaut Assistance Tool, or CAT, a multifunction device essential for exploration, puzzle solving, and even fending off hostile robots. The atmosphere is thick with tension, enhanced by minimal HUD and realistic audio inspired by retro technology. The game features a visual wound system and partial procedural generation to keep each playthrough fresh. If you love atmospheric horror set in sci-fi environments, Routine promises to deliver an immersive and spine-tingling experience on PC and Xbox platforms. Definitely a must-watch for horror fans this year. Shock isn't just another horror survival title, it's a nerve-shredding descent into chaos. Set in a crumbling city where reality itself seems unstable, every alley an abandoned building hides something that wants you dead or worse. You're not fighting zombies or ghosts here, you're up against unpredictable, shape-shifting horrors that adapt to how you play. The environment isn't just a backdrop, it's alive, reacting to your decisions and twisting into something new every time you revisit. Every flicker of light feels suspicious. Every sound makes you second-guess moving forward. And the worst part? You'll never be sure if what you're seeing is real, or just the game getting inside your head. Shock is coming in 2026, and it's made to make even seasoned horror fans feel helpless. You ever play a horror game that doesn't just scare you, it haunts you? That's the feeling OD Knock is aiming for. Set in a decaying coastal town swallowed by fog and rumor, the game traps you in a place where reality isn't stable. One knock at the wrong door, and things change. Sometimes subtly, sometimes violently. You don't just walk into houses, you have to decide whether you even want to. Every location is loaded with mystery, locked basements, boarded windows, faint whispers behind the walls. The moment you interact, the world responds in ways that feel personal, almost like it knows your choices before you make them. From what I've seen, OD Knock blends slow burn tension with bursts of sheer panic. You're piecing together clues about a town that doesn't appear on maps anymore, all while something is watching. And it's not a creature in the traditional sense, it's more like the environment itself is alive, and it's hunting you. Mechanically, it's got that survival feel, resource scarcity, restricted vision, and an audio design that'll mess with your head like footsteps that don't belong to you. It's not jump scare spam, it's a constant tightening of the chest. Honestly, I think OD Knock could stand out because it's less about running away from monsters and more about choosing which fears to confront. You might spend half an hour building the courage to knock on one door, only to regret it instantly. And that's the hook. It's not just what's behind the door, it's what opening it does to you. If this delivers on its promise, it's going to be one of the most talked about horror survival releases of 2025, especially for players who love atmosphere, psychological tension, and games that leave you thinking about them long after you put the controller down. Get ready for one of the most disturbing survival horror games ever made, ILL. Set in a small, decaying town overtaken by grotesque mutations, ILL throws you into a nightmare where every shadow hides a threat. Powered by Unreal Engine 5, this game pushes realism to terrifying new levels, from hyper-detailed body horror to jaw-dropping physics and dismemberment effects. You'll scavenge for scarce ammo, fight through unspeakable creatures, and make impossible choices to survive the infection spreading through humanity. Each encounter feels raw, brutal, and unpredictable. Created by Cloud Games, ILL doesn't just want to scare you, it wants to unstill you completely. Expect intense combat, psychological dread, and environments that feel alive and rotting all at once. Releasing sometime in 2025, ILL looks ready to redefine what true horror gaming means. Do you think you can handle it?
ProjectZ